This is the next recipe in the guerrilla cooking series. It's from Germany, and you know, the translated name doesn't quite translate over correctly, so we'll call this fried sardines and onions on bread. Now, the actual name for this is Ölsoldaten, which means oil soldiers. Now, I cannot find a origination on this recipe, where it came from in Germany, but my guess would be it's probably from up along the Baltic Sea, probably a German soldier who grew up in a little fishing village. Now, this is from a German cookbook from World War II, and there was a note with it that this recipe was actually common in the Africa Corps, and that's why it was included in the cookbook. All we need for this is a can of sardines and oil, one small onion, and some bread or brot. So let's get this party started here. Now, while I'm getting my stuff somewhat set up here, I will let it be known that Combat Cameraman is wussing out on this particular recipe. So we have another volunteer who's decided to come in and test their mettle with this recipe. So let's get our sardines out here. And we'll pour in the oil because we're going to need the oil to fry according to the recipe. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to chop up the onion. According to the translated recipe that I found online, it said finely chop. But I just have a feeling this is probably one of those recipes where we want the onions to be a little stringy. Now, since my onion is so small, I'm just going to chop it in half, bust it up into my pan here. As soon as I mentioned to Combat Cameraman we were going to give this a shot today, he literally almost puked. So I knew at that point I had to find someone else to be the taste tester. So I asked someone who's aware of the channel if they were willing to be the guinea pig, and they said, why not? But I am not allowed to say their name or give them a handle for the video. So we'll just call them Anonymous. Now, the recipe book that this is from, if I remember the translated title, it's referred to as Improvements of Cold Fare from like 1942, 1943. You should be able to find it online if you look for it. There's a bunch of recipes in there that I want to try. One of them I already have. You know, the Fleischsalat is from that cookbook. And this is another one from that cookbook. There are a few others that I'm eyeing that I am thinking about doing here. I just have to get a hold of the materials. Now, why am I doing this particular recipe? Well, because it's really simple when you think about it. A can of sardines, a small onion, and a little bit of bread. You never know what you're going to get a hold of if you're in a resistance situation or a survival situation. Well, here you go. Here you have a food item that most people will turn their noses on because not too many people eat sardines anymore. Well, that might mean you could get a hold of some. It's actually quite humorous because Combat Cameraman's already turning green just from the smell of the sardines, as the smell of frying sardines and onions are wafting over to him behind the camera. As now he's walking away to vomit a little bit before, and hopefully not be picked up on the camera. Basically, I figure we're going to fry this until the onions clarify. Now, could you substitute something other than sardines in this? I suppose if you really wanted to, you could substitute some fish that you caught. You know, some smaller fry. It's too small to bake or grill or anything like that. But you're trying to survive. You caught it in your fish trap. You got to use it somehow. Well, this might be a way that you can use them. Another option is maybe a can of tuna. Fry up the tuna in here a little bit with some onion, and then you put it over some bread. Yeah, just listen to those fishy sizzle there, Combat Cameraman. I didn't think colors of green like that was natural. I've talked to Ron Stryker about this recipe, and his response was, sounds interesting, not something I want to try. Seriously, this reminds me of some of the weird challenges we used to have when I was in the desert. The weird eating challenges. Because you'd get stuff, you know, that are snacks and stuff. You'd get cans of sardines, you'd get kipper snacks and spicy pickles and all kinds of stuff. And what are soldiers going to do in their spare time? Well, let's turn it into an eating challenge and see how much the person can eat before they vomit. And whoever eats the most wins the pot of cash. This is one of those things that I seriously could see being in one of those challenges. Now, I did do some looking up. There are recipes on YouTube from Germany, fried sardines and onions, but the current version that is eaten in Germany, after they've fried the sardines and onions up, they mix in some cream cheese, add in a little bit of seasoning and that stuff, and then they spread it over the top of their toast, you know, and they eat it that way. So we'll put away the electric Esbit stove. Grab a piece of bread. Get ourselves a nice piece of sardine on there. Add on some onion. We'll spread the sardine around just a little bit, just to torture combat cameraman. Pass that over to the guinea pig. Now, I have thought about it, being America. Typically something like this, you're probably going to want to add some sauce of some type. So I'm thinking maybe Tabasco, or I got here some Taco Bell hot sauce. But we'll have a try here with the base recipe and then see if the guinea pig wants to try some type of sauce on it. Okay, now do you want to try it with sauce? Guinea pig has decided to try it with some Tabasco. So now I'll dish myself up a nice big piece of sardine here and some bits of onion. Give it a little try first. Not too bad. I'm going to give mine a shot of Taco Bell hot sauce. See how that turns out. That kicks it up a notch. My personal feelings is not too much different than a regular fish sandwich. I think you really should add some salt and pepper when preparing it, or sprinkle it on as you're serving it. The Taco Bell hot sauce does add to the flavor. What about the anonymous guinea pig? Thumbs up, thumbs down, midway. We got a thumbs up on eating it with the Tabasco. So there you go. Another World War II recipe, which isn't half bad, and I think between me and the guinea pig, I think we will be finishing this off fairly quickly. It actually tastes better than you think. It literally just tastes like a regular fish sandwich that you would get from a restaurant. It just looks a little bit different. So there you go. German fried sardines and onion on bread. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and militia movements, always remember, essayons.